The 98th fight card in the Apex happened this weekend, Alex. UFC Vegas, 98. We thought we might see a new rising title contender.
I put money on it.
We don't have that yet. He still might be there. That's Taira.
We actually do, though, because Asu, what's the Japanese fellow who's fighting Pantoja for the belt now? Asukara, or whatever his name is. So we do still have a Japanese contender.
But before we get to the main event, before we get to the main card, Alex, take us back down a trip down memory lane.
Down.
Down. And let's do the prelims.
Yeah, all right. Clay Carpenter opened up the prelims, this fight card, with a good win.
A workman-like performance.
Yeah, it was a good win over Lucas Roja. Carpenter earned 2 out of his 3 takedowns.
He's Carpenter and he's a workman.
I was just moving forward. It was a good one, but I was just moving forward, letting it breathe.
Okay.
He earned 2 out of 3 takedowns and some slicing elbows, split Rocha wide open, which led to him giving up his back and Carpenter getting the rear naked choke. That moves Carpenter to 8-0 in his career, 2-0 in the UFC.
He's really building something out there.
And 2 rear naked chokes in the UFC. I do like the Carpenter jokes. I don't know why I didn't go with any of them. I must have figured you would go there. Dan Argueta lost to Cody Haddon in his UFC debut. Cody Haddon won this fight by unanimous decision.
Cody Haddon, recent UFC Contender Series, Dana White Contender Series alum.
Yep. Argueta shot 24 takedowns and only landed 4. He couldn't hang with the striking of Haddon. It was a good showing. Cody Haddon showed a lot of skill in his debut. It made me very excited about his future. 8-1 in his career.
I believe he said Dana White never has to worry about a boring fight with me.
Yeah, he said if Dana White has a boring fight for me, just cut me.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty bold statement.
I respect it.
Yep. Julia Pilastri came in on short notice and took the lopsided split decision victory over Corey McKenna. While a close fight on the cards, Pilastri had mounds of success in the octagon early. She gave up the final round, in my opinion, but won the first 2 handily. McKenna landed her only takedown in the 3rd round. Pilastri moves to a strong 1-1 in the UFC.
I believe this was the first of many split decisions on this card.
Yeah, we're not talking about those yet. Justin Jr., I always get those mixed up even if I'm looking at them.
Who even knows the difference?
Junior Tafa took on Sean Sharaf. They both emptied the gas tank early, and if round 1 would have lasted any longer, I think Sharaf would have stolen the TKO victory. Enter round 2, though. The exhausted big boys, fresh off the stool and nearly out of gas. Tafa landed the heavier shots Sharaf couldn't keep up with, and somehow Tafa wins this fight by TKO. It was a weird one. They ran out of gas early.
It was a weird one. I'm not surprised. I mean, it was just bound.
Dude,
whoever could lift their fist was going to knock the other one out. They were so tired.
The whole time during the 7-minute fight we had, the commentators were just talking about how Junior Tafa wants to move to light heavyweight. And it's like, bro, you're lasting a round and a half at 250 pounds. That's not, you're gassed.
Maybe being lighter would be better for him.
Maybe. Either way, good win by Junior Tafa. Either way, a win's a win.
It's a win.
Yep, and you need that. He's 6-3 in his career. Thimba Garimbo took Nico Price to school on this fight, scoring 7 out of 9 takedowns with nearly 2 full rounds of control.
His
Price
cool name,
had
too.
No answers. Wink, wink. If you know Thimba Garimbo's nickname. From there, he outstruck. Garimbo won unanimous decision. It wasn't an easy win. No fight's an easy win, but it was
There's
a great
some easy
win.
wins.
Not from my perspective, because they put a whole lot of work in that I don't put in. Garimbo won unanimous decision, the fairest judging on the night, in my opinion, 30-27 on all 3, unanimous decision. Pat Sabatini out-wrestled and outmaneuvered Jonathan Pierce, who I have to admit, and the commentators are talking about it, Jonathan Pierce has good grappling, but Pat Sabatini saw the lone mistake that was made and locked in the rear naked choke.
You got to be on your game at all times when you're grappling with somebody dangerous like Sabatini.
Yeah, Sabatini has 12 career submission victories, so
it's his favorite way to finish a fight.
That's how he's trying to get there. Low damage and take you out. Ramazan Tamarov took the prelims by storm in his UFC debut against CJ Vergara. Tamarov had the speed, power, and honestly every other advantage in the cage over Vergara, knocking him out 2 minutes and 50 seconds into the first round. 5 straight KOs from Tamarov on a 10-fight win streak entering his UFC
This
debut.
might have been the most electrifying performance of the whole card.
I agree. Let's jump right into the main card. Daniel Rodriguez versus Alex, the Great White Morono.
This was one of the split decisions we mentioned earlier. I think one of 3 split decisions on the main card alone.
So of those not of those, but of the split decisions of the night, Sal D'Amato was on 3 of them. The one that favored,
Like the dissenting voice.
yeah, this one, Tatsuro Taira, and Corey McKenna.
But this one is the one I think was probably one of the closer ones. I think there's an argument Moreno won this fight. I've had Daniel Rodriguez winning close, but there's an argument Moreno won this fight. I could see that.
This is one where I agree there could be, but the other two, Pilastri didn't lose that fight at all, and Brandon Royval didn't lose that fight.
Yeah, I think it was pretty clear he won 3 rounds to 2, in my opinion.
And for what they are, it's not the worst split decisions I've ever seen, but it's weird that they all voted, Sal D'Amato voted for Morono, Taira, and McKenna.
And he's on
a lot of fight
he's
cards.
a judge on a lot of fight cards.
Yeah, so suspect at least. Either way, Daniel Rodriguez defeated Alex Morono by split decision. It was a good fight. A lot of striking, close in a total output. Daniel Rodriguez had the edge in landed strikes.
Daniel Rodriguez was landing that jab like crazy.
Yeah, he I don't
Strong
want to say,
jab.
It wasn't for points. He was trying to open things up, and he did what he needed to do. He landed his sole takedown, which obviously is going to help you win.
And then was this the fight where Moreno dropped him right away, or was that I might be confusing with
JunYong Park got dropped right away, and I was actually going to the fridge to get a beer for that fight, and I walked back. I was like, "Oh, are you fucking kidding me?" No, Daniel Rodriguez. This was just a good back and forth fight. I thought D-Rod won.
Yeah, I had him slight winner as well.
It aggravated me in the moment, but once it breathes a little, I do see how Morono could have won, especially watching it back. Let's move on to the next fight. Lightweights, Grant Dawson versus Rafa Garcia.
The only finish of the main card, correct?
Yes, only finish of
the main card with Dawson with the second round TKO of Garcia. Dawson, this was a good fight for him.
Dude leveled up his striking, huh?
He did.
That was ridiculous.
He's a young guy that, remember, he had his loss, I believe, to Bobby Green when he was undefeated.
Yeah, 36-second KO. I mean, we talked about it last week, not like a fluke, but it's one of those where you just get caught.
Got caught.
So
and he came back his last fight. This was the second fight since then, correct?
Dude, yeah.
Came back his last fight, won
by decision.
And in this fight, he, as you said, he leveled up.
Dude, I don't know what it was. He came out, he wanted to show something off. He had elbows, he had jabs, he had, everything. And not to all of that, to mention that his wife has an absolute dump truck you could bounce a quarter off of.
Good for him. Good for my man Grant.
His wife fight. I think he said his wife fights in December. After that, he might put a baby in her. Grant Dawson, KGD has the world looking up for him. The only thing I need to actually ask you about Grant Dawson is who's next. Is he ready for a top 15 shot? I think he might at this time.
I think he's close.
Slow rolling him.
He's close to a top 15. As you said, he fought Bobby Green. I don't know if Bobby Green was ranked when he fought him.
No,
maybe
he wasn't.
15.
He was like 17th, or it doesn't really matter if you're not in the top 15. Let me give you my 3 options because I think he's ready for a top 15 fight. My reach play.
Let me guess. Jalen Turner.
I made sure not to do it because he's booked. Reach play will be a rematch of Bobby Green. When you get caught like that,
yeah, I would like to see that.
I think it's a reach, but I think it could happen, especially with the trajectory difference that they're on, especially since those 2 fights. Well, KGD's trajectory never was messed up, but Bobby Green's has gone down. Or what about Benoit Saint-Denis taking 2 losses in a row?
I think that'd be a good fight for Benoit.
He's 11th or 12th in the ranking, so it would be a bit of a reach for Dawson, but I believe 13, 14, and 15 are all currently scheduled fights. Actually, 15 is Rafael Dos Anjos, and he requested to be removed from the rankings. So there's actually a 15 vacancy right now. My dogs are fighting. You hear that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, they do that over dinner sometimes. Or what about
they're mad.
Not recently beaten, but the last beaten, Rafael Fiziev?
I think Benoit Saint Denis is the one I want to see. I think it'd be a good fight for both. A nice step up in competition for Dawson. Chance for Benoit to get his
it's one of
W
those,
back.
like, wrestling could be a stalemate, so it could resort to a striking bout. And with Dawson's level up in striking,
I would love to see that.
Especially with a little bit more time, he could learn another technique or master something else.
I think that could be
It would be a fun fight.
It could either be a fight night main event. It could be the main prelim or one of the top prelims of a pay-per-view card. I would love to see that fight.
It could be any number fight on a numbered card for sure.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the fight we didn't get to talk about because it was a last-minute addition to the main card, but we did do our picks. We both got it right. Chidi Njokuani versus Jared Gooden.
I believe Gooden was one of 3 fighters on this card to miss weight.
Yeah, I believe he missed it by 2.5 pounds, which is not a crazy weight miss, but it's the welterweight division. It's like I'd have to say one of the easiest weight classes to make weight in.
Well, it just depends how big you are.
Well, move up. Womp womp, right? Yeah. Chidi Njokuani didn't care about the weight miss. He won 30-27 on all the judges' scorecards. And I think I take it back. This is the most honest judging scorecard of the night. This was the best judged one, but I think it's because it was the most clear.
Yeah, it was very clear that
Yeah.
Chidi got the dub.
Chidi
He was
got the
better
win.
than Gooden on the night. I want to say Gordon, but Gooden.
Jared Gordon. That's another fighter. Yeah.
Jared Gordon, Jared Gooden.
Yeah, you're right. Gooden had some success. You know, he got 2 takedowns when he shot 8. He did try to lock in a sub, but Njokuani overall just, had every answer for the technique and everything. I don't have a who's next here, but the reason is because Chidi is 2-0 in the welterweight division, so it's a recent move for him. He wants a top 15 opponent. But if you look at the welterweight division, 14 of the top 25 welterweights have a fight booked.
Yeah, so it's a busy division.
It's becoming the busiest division quickly.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. And 4 through 10, 7 of those, 4 fighters and 4 through 10 don't have a fight booked, but he's not getting
one
of
a
those.
top 10 fight right now.
So I think he's just going to have to wait, kind of maybe have to take one that's not in the top 15 to show off his skill set again or something.
Yeah, I still think he's a couple fights away from getting a ranked opponent.
But either way, I think Chidi is on the rise. Good showing by him over Jared Gooden, especially when Jared Gooden had the benefit of not having to cut the full amount of weight. Moving on, co-main event. JunYong Park defeated Brad Tavares.
This was the fight. JunYong Park got dropped right away.
And I was terrified. Like I said a few fights ago, I was in the garage here getting a beer, walked back in, and Tavares was on top of him. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, this is happening to Park again?
Park, he ended up getting the split decision win. This was a very close fight. Tavares, I mean, we talked about it. His leg kicks, he was going heavy on the leg kicks.
I have to say, Park countered the leg kicks with leg kicks of his own.
Yes, Park started count. That is... He said,
Doubled
I
up
see your
on
leg.
him.
I see your leg kicks. I'll leg kick you back.
Park landed 19. Tavares landed 8, and there was more damage on Tavares' leg early, which pretty much made the leg kick stop after the first half of the fight.
It was a good rebound from Park after getting, as you said, he got dropped right away, and it's like, oh no, here we go again.
Park's last fight was I'd say a robbery split decision. Where he lost. It's like this dude needs to catch a break, and the judges are not handing out breaks lately. You got to win sometimes not by decision. I mean, it is what it is. Park striking is good. His wrestling is good. 2 out of 6 takedowns over a round of control.
I agree. It was a good performance from Park. It was a good fight.
Middleweight's a weird division.
Tavares came out and fought well, but Park, he's got to get some finishes to be able to really level up.
Yep. I got some questions for Park. Because he's 8-3 in the UFC, he usually puts like a 2 or 3 fight win streak together before he takes a loss. Yeah. Which, even when he takes a loss, is still adding. He has stock rise almost.
As you
every
said,
time.
one of them was a very close split decision loss.
Right.
His last loss.
So he's not just getting completely walked over. I got 3 options for you for JunYong Park. The Iron Turtle. What about Paulo Costa? He's 1-4 in his last 5. Admittedly against top contention in the division.
I think that's a good one though. I think it kind of goes with the Benoit Saint Denis thing where it's like
you got to answer.
He's a guy, he needs a dub, and this is a guy that's rising, so it's like why not put him together?
Yeah, he's holding a ranking that I don't want to say he's not deserving of, but
prove you're deserving
for the taking.
Prove you're deserving of it against a rising guy.
Or Ikram Aliskerov. just got knocked out by
Bobby Knuckles.
By Bobby Knuckles.
Which they kind of threw him in there.
Right.
He jumped in the deep end real quick.
Which, good for him. He took his test.
Yeah, good for him.
Or the
good
UFC
for him for getting
vet,
knocked out.
The old gatekeeper himself, Jack Hermanson. That's probably my reach play of all of them.
Hermanson, was his last fight against Joe Pyfer? Oh, no, he's fought since then.
He's fought once since then. He won, though, I believe.
Yeah, so he's kind of been silently on the rise, but you're right. He's kind of been in that top 10 for a while.
Yeah.
Give me Paulo Costa. That's the one I think that's the most exciting. That'll get most people talking. I think that'll be a good fight.
And it'll answer my question: is Paulo Costa washed? Is he done?
I mean, when he fought Bobby Knuckles, he was right there.
Maybe. Yeah, he was. All right, let's go to the main event. Brandon Royval, split decision win over Tatsuro Taira. Shout out Sal D'Amata again gave Taira the split decision nod. Gave him rounds 1, 2, and 3, I believe.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
Royval got the win.
I
think Royval got the deserving win on this.
Yeah.
Taira, though, it wasn't a bad performance. He faced a lot of adversity. He proved he's about it. His tough chin. He's a tough guy.
Getting knocked out.
Not getting knocked out. And I think going into the 5th round, it was 2-2. Because I think first round you give to Royval. Taira rebounded well. I think he won the second.
Either fighter.
Royval came back, won the third. Then Taira responded again to adversity, won the second. Then Royval, I think, just being the vet, and he had the better striking.
He also had the better gas tank.
He had the better striking. He had the better gas tank. By the end, he was he
was putting. I mean, he won the 5th round in my opinion. I rooted for Taira. I had money on Taira. I think you as well. We both picked Taira.
Yeah, I think it was 135 for Royval.
Exactly, and that's how you win a fight. That's why he's the #1 contender for the belt. I guess he's got to wait his turn now. But the only who's next I got for him is who's going to win between Pantoja or Asakura.
Pantoja loses, Royval's right there to possibly get a title shot.
And the only question is why wouldn't Royval get another title shot? He beat, it might have just been a bad
I think the UFC now is just trying to not avoid having these trilogies at this weight class.
The trilogies at flyweight, the quadrilogies at flyweight are oft.
But, I mean, at some point it'll be undeniable.
It has to happen if it has to happen.
Yeah.
If you can't contend with the top 5 and they keep beating you, you don't deserve to be there. That just is what it is.
Yeah, this fight reminded me a lot of, I know it didn't end nearly the same. It wasn't as decisive as Poirier beating Benoit Saint-Denis, but it was kind of the same thing. It was like a guy that's been in that top 5 for a long time.
Yeah.
The new contender everybody's talking about, has just a lot of hope, comes in and just gets, obviously Taira didn't get stopped as in he got knocked out, but he got stopped as in it's pretty obvious Royval won the fight and Royval was better.
Well, it was almost the same thing as the Pantoja-Urseg fight because Urseg put up a better fight against Pantoja than he did against Cara France.
Yeah.
So, either way, shout out to Brandon Royval. I think he gets the winner of Asakura versus Pantoja.
And I think Taira, Royval even said this.
He's still only 24.
24, it's his first loss. He's still tough. I think he's still right there in the top 5 of this division, I think. And he'll be back at a title shot. Title contention soon enough.
At the end of that fight, what I wanted to hear more than anything, though? I'm so happy, thank you!